Hi, everybody. First, I want to welcome you to this channel, Twin Flame Talk, where we're going to talk about your twin flame experience also. So, hit me up in the comment section. Let me know what your journey was like, if this resonates with anybody. Um, the things that woke me up along this journey, so that we could get an understanding of what this here is all about. Also, if you have any dreams that you need interpreted, I do that. So hit me up with an email, describe your dreams, and I'll be able to let you know what they mean. Of course, I do them for free because the universe needs you to know your message. So I'm going to talk about the things that woke me up just a little, to make me know that something wasn't right in this situation. Because at the time I was very new, because to this twin flame, none of the people I grew up with knew about the twin. We never ever talked about it. We talked more about soulmates than anything, if we even talked about that. And so just a little bit, because the spirit doesn't give you all that information all at once, because this is not an exam. It's not talking with others to get their point of view on this twin flame journey. And it's definitely not what you think, because one thing about it, we don't come and do things according to how society requires us to be, because we're being pulled by our energy, which energy is everywhere. Come to find out, on this journey, I found out that we are energy. Everything around us is energy. Everything has an aura. So we wake up to these knowledges, but we wake up in our own time. And so once we find out these things, we know that spirit is all, and the understanding of that takes time, as the spirit universe allows us to understand, because we can't know everything all at once, which is for our own good and our protection. And that's why we have a pull, and then we have a push, so that we could be able to know the truth, and then from a lie. And sometimes when we tell people about it, they don't understand it. They're like, that's not right. What you're doing is not right. It's not a matter of it's right. We came here actually because we're to get the creation of earth back to its original form. And so that's why I say it's more than love for the two, is love for the universe, because we have to help people to realize that the way how you've been trained by society is where we have our blocks, where we are not able to focus on the big picture, to know our real purpose, to understand why we are here, why we are doing the things that we do. Karmics play a big part, because those karmics help control the twins from actually being in union when it's too soon. So that, because there's things we have to learn on earth and in human form to interact with people, in order for us to help to get the help, be a part of helping the creation. We're all doing it as one. So it doesn't mean that we're better than anybody else. It just means that we all have different tasks and different purposes to help get the universe back to its original form. So, and I'm going to humbly try to talk to you about the uphill and the challenges of being a twin, the fun parts and all that type of stuff, because it is amazing. And it has a lot of it's definitely unique. It's definitely something different, something that only the creator would think of, because sometimes I think he has a real sense of humor, especially when he did that. But come to find out, we all choose each part of our journey. No matter if you're a twin or not, we all choose our journeys while we're here. And this part, especially with all this pandemic going on, is to wake us up. This dying and stuff is to wake us up. Wake you up to who you are as a spirit. Because spirit was here before religion. So this is the most important thing that we all need to understand. So let's go on about this twin flame journey. So number one, when I was working with the twin, and he had left the building, he got removed, and I was in an area, and it's a big area. And in that area, it was one day I was like, okay, somebody's in here somebody shouldn't be in here, but somebody's in here. So let me go and check to see what's going on. And I didn't find anything. And I'm like, damn, this is some crap. Like, what is going on in this place? So I was like, okay, I need to hurry up and get this done. But we had a coworker that I had to work with, and at the time, because of an injury, so they had to come and work with me. So when they came in, they felt the same presence. So I was like, well, thank goodness you feel it, because I thought I was losing my mind. I just wanted to keep my head straight and just keep it moving. So come to find out that we have soul families that help us along the journey. That's why it's so important to know who you are, so that you could help each of us to get to our journey. So this was a soul family that had to help me to find out who I am, to find out what my purpose is, which is more than the union that I come to find out is more than that. And we'll get into that in other videos. So what, at the time, so the two of us had some experience in and out of those hospitals, even when I weren't around him or he weren't around me. And like I said, this is a twin flame soul family. So, and he's not a twin, but he's my soul family. So when another time we were just out in one of the areas and we were talking, completely different day. And we were in an area we were trying to clean, and we heard a door open and a door close. So we're like, okay, nobody should be on this floor besides us. So we go to investigate. And lo and behold, I was like, well, if it's a manager, they should still be at least lingering, or at least trying to get on the elevator. Because the time that it took to get there, it was no way that they would have been able to get on the elevator that fast after they opened and closed that door. It was absolutely nobody. The door didn't even probably open or close. We didn't see it personally, but we did hear it. So that was another experience. Then a couple of days or weeks later, who knows, I hear we're talking, and his face just went blank, like he saw a ghost. And actually, it was like, according to him, it was light that just slowly walked across him. And to see his face, because I didn't see the object myself, but to see his face, you could tell something caught him off guard, because his conversation, whatever it was kind of interesting. Probably talking about the managers, you know how people are at jobs. So we were, and it was like, okay, so that was another experience. And then I remember another day he had to, he was in one part of the building, and I was at another part. We were still in the same place and area, and he comes out, he's like, you were calling me? And I was like, no, I'm way down here. How could I be calling you? So he's like, it seemed like you were right outside the door calling me. I was like, no, that weren't me. So that was a little thing to, and I'm saying to myself, what is going on? That maybe I need to get away from him, because, and we joke about that. And maybe we need to get away from, because we come up with all these strange things. So, we have a good laugh at that. And then another time, I had to be outside the office that we were working in. And I was doing something. And I was like in an area where I couldn't see anybody at the time. And all I hear is some, calling my name. And it was his voice. 100% his voice. So I'm like, I'm coming. Just give me a minute. So I go around, and there was nobody there. And I'm like, he is playing games, always playing games. So we go, and I say, was it you? No. I said, it must be the other one that likes playing pranks. So no, it was nobody. It was absolutely nobody. So, I'm saying to myself, what is going on? I'm just not sure what is going on. So a couple of weeks later, maybe, I got a call from my twin. He wants me to come and work with him in a facility. So I go and we work, right? And then there's that pull and that push. He's doing things that, like, what? And it was nothing serious, but it was just things that remind you of experiences that you've been through, or something that could not be, it's not necessarily that it was that, but it was just things that were triggering. So I didn't understand it. He didn't understand it, but it was still a pool. We would still come look for each other. And our energy levels were still high when we were around each other. And we still didn't understand the pull and the pull towards each other either at that time. So he had left that facility at that time and went to another one. We stayed there for a couple of months. And I went to another facility, and helping out. I'm still at the hospital. So I go to another facility. And one day I go into a lady's room. And she says to me, oh, who you got with you? No, this is around the time that my father had passed away. Right? So I was like, nobody, baby. It's just me. So she says, no, there's somebody right next to you. And I'm like, what is she looking at? So I said, no, I'm by myself. So she says, no, there's some. I said, okay, I'm saying to myself, maybe it's my daddy. He just passed. So I said, well, let me show her a picture of my daddy. He's probably, checking on me and stuff like that. So I show her. She's like, no, that's not him. So she says, he's got his hands, his arms crossed. He's looking at you real stern. And I was like, oh my goodness, who in heaven's name could this be? So I said, well, I don't really know anybody that's passed away. So she's like, well, I don't know who it could be either. So I said, well, let me see if it's somebody that I know that's alive. She said it's a younger person. It definitely couldn't be my daddy unless he's coming back looking young in his spirit. So I showed her his picture, the twin. So she says, that's him right there. And I'm like, but he's alive. Alive people, spirit don't come. But then at the time I forgot about when he came and visited me in my house. There's 2 times. So, it bothered me. Like, I had to hurry up and get out of that room too. I'm like, what is going on? All these weird things happening. So we had to get out of the room. And so I got out of the room, and the next time I go in her room, maybe 2 days later, she's like, there he is again, curled up in a bowl like it's in pain. And I'm like, oh my gosh, because I know that he was in a karmic relationship where he was being physically abused. And so that concerned me. So, that in my opinion was from my opinion of how life is, was why I was drawn to him, because I don't like people being in an abusive relationship. I myself have been through it. It brings up a lot of emotions, confusion, and you become a victim. You become all sorts of things. So I was like, oh my God, he might just be in a whole lot of pain because, he's going through something. So I was kind of worried about that. I still hadn't called him yet because he did ask for me to not call him. And that I thought at the time, made it easier for me to try to get over this situation. But the more as time went by, the more I was like, I need to talk to him. It was just something I couldn't understand it. So opportunity came open for another facility. So I called and mentioned it to him, and he was there. He ended up coming to that facility, and we both ended up at that facility together. And we became like, let's talk business about other things. So we started talking about business and getting closer that way. And yes, we, on and off, we always gave big hugs, maybe a kiss here and there, but it was never nothing disrespectful or anything along that line. So we get in there, and we're working together and everything. And it was just still that people around us probably felt the energy or whatever the case may be, and they were intimidated or jealous and just started, like wherever we went, it was just people were just creating situations. So and eventually he ended up leaving that facility also. And so we sat off and we talked, and that's when I finally told him, oh, let me go back. Well, oh yeah, so that's when I finally told him about the time when he came to that last facility, The way how he looked at me, he had his arms folded and was looking at me stern. So I was like, OMG. I can't believe this, because he's looking at me just the same way how this lady was mentioning when she saw his vision, spirit at the time. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is really unbelievable. So I had, his grandma had passed. So I was like, well, it's got to be his grandma. She came in my dreams also. So, and at the time I didn't understand why she came in the dreams. But I did later on. And so it was because she was trying to help direct him, and so I told him about it. And I was like, I know I'm got to tell you something. And you may think it is weird or whatever the case may be, but I got to let you know. So I told him about it. And like I said, at the time, I thought it was his spirit. I didn't think it was his spirit. I thought it was his grandma's spirit that was coming, because I didn't understand seeing spirits and stuff along that line. So I let him know about that, and he didn't think it was weird. So I thought that was weird, that he didn't think it was weird. You understand? So that was a situation. So we sat down and we talked about it for a little bit anyway. And I was like, maybe she knows what you're going through. And he's like, she's been knowing what I'm going through. And so, I laugh at that. So I want to stop right here, right now, because that was part of our journey. And I want to continue more on another day, so that we could give you more information on this twin flame journey and how I learned more about it. Well, actually, I'm going to say one more thing, because after that experience with him, we went our separate ways, but we still stayed, and we were closer by now, right? Closer as like something was definitely up there. We didn't understand. And so it intrigued me so much, because still other weird things was happening, spiritual things that I didn't understand. And what happened was I ended up having to call. I remember the time, because it was almost time while I was at work to get off from work. So the time was, and I didn't understand these numbers either at that time. And my time was 1 a.m., 111. So, and I called India. I don't know who the person was, but I had to find out what's going on. Because my brother, who is my soul brother, was telling me that, I had to find out. So he was giving me a lot of good advice, like, a lot of stuff. And so I was so bothered by the situation that I said, let me go ahead and call. So I called this Indian person who, and they didn't charge or anything. I don't remember who they are. And they didn't charge me or anything, but they were like, what you're on is a twin flame journey. So I'm saying, what the is a twin flame journey? So I ended up going from there to find out more. And that's where I understood things started really opening up to me about this journey. And so I'm going to end right here for now, for sure. And if this has been informative to you and you would like to know more, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And also, if you need to hear anything else about your dreams and your journey, let's talk. Have a good day.